My name is not important. You may call me the Time Traveler, for this is the story of my travels through time. It begins on a rainy summer's day. I was entertaining my esteemed colleagues from the Royal Institute of Science. Using a rudimentary working model, I explained and demonstrated how, using new discoveries in the world of science, I would travel back and forth through time. The response was not as I imagined. They laughed and pooh-poohed my hypothesis, which enraged me, but only served to renew my vigor and prove them wrong. I set about, at haste, to build the full-scale version and to prove the doubters at the RIS wrong. I would collect souvenirs and artifacts that would prove my theory right. My machine built, I climbed aboard and nervously pulled the lever towards me. The years on the time calculation attenuator span backwards with great speed. I became mesmerized as the world around me blurred into obscurity. I blinked and missed a lifetime of images playing themselves in reverse as I was hurled into the past. My first stop was what I thought would be the beginning, year zero, with a hope to see the delights of the Garden of Eden. Not wishing to make any incalculable interventions at this crucial stage in history, I decided not to introduce myself to the naked figures stood before me, but instead, I quietly took an apple from a tree for my colleagues at the RIS and their carbon dating contraption. The next stop was much further back, as far as I could comfortably allow the time calculation attenuator to go, a primordial jungle of prehistory where I was unfortunately chased by an enraged dinosaur, obviously a little perturbed that I had taken its egg as a souvenir. Next on my travels was the beginning of civilization, where I saw the pyramids in their majestic prime. I spent some time exploring those behemoths structures, keen to discover more about their burial rites and rather valuable gold artifacts, one of which I was able to take with little effort and consequence to the area. Amongst some other ventures into previous points in history was a point in 1066 where I helped Harold remove the arrow from his eye. Overall, though, I was disappointed with my experiences of the past. I decided to venture forth into what I hoped was the more developed human landscape of the future. 1945, 100 years into my own present future. Great Scots! This can't be. The sky was ablaze, thunderous noise generators rasping past me, people dying all around me. In the sky, metal birds leaving trails of smoke behind them, dropping exploding balloons from their wings. What is this chaos that I have stumbled across? What went so wrong for this outrageous destruction to grip humanity? Suddenly, a deafening crash, an explosion that took the very hearing from my senses. I saw a series of staggeringly vast mushroom-shaped clouds around me. Shocking waves of shockwaves sent my craft hither and thither. The bomboclatical machinations blasted me into unconsciousness. It was the year 800,000 when I awoke. I had survived. My craft, a little worse for wear, lay on its side. In the distances, I heard an anguish high-pitched squeal, so I decided to investigate. I discovered, to my amazement, a group of small humans casually enjoying a jaunt by the river. Amongst them was the source of that nagging squeal, a woman, stunningly beautiful, but clearly out of her depth and drowning. The British in me took over, and I leapt in and saved the poor damsel. Strangely, she didn't thank me for my efforts, but in a rudimentary tongue she said that her name was Weena, and invited me to luncheon with her tribe called the Elroy. Amongst some of their jabberous after-dinner conversations was one point of interest. They spoke nervously about another colony called the Murdochs. Breaking the drivel, a loud siren pierced the air, sending everyone around me into a trance. I followed as they marched like zombies to a place near the spot where I had originally appeared. My ship? It was gone! Suddenly, some mutated trunk monkeys appeared from underground burrows and started dragging the mindless Elroy away. I heard a familiar voice. Weena! Captured and in need of assistance. I chased the Murdochs into their underground lair. Deep, deep underground, where all the light was extinguished. Once again, I lit a match to illuminate my surroundings. Murdochs surrounding my ship, and Weena bound and gagged. I ran towards her. The Murdochs scattered, cowering from the naked flame of my match. I freed Weena, and we ran towards the time machine. Some Murdochs gave chase, but I fought them off. Having fended off our pursuers, we boarded my craft, and I quickly pushed the lever forward. We shot forward through time together in haste. When the urgency had passed, I decided that rather than return her to a perilous way of life, I would instead invite her to share my adventure and accompany me into uncharted territories. The souvenirs I had gathered from my previous escapades had all been lost in the kerfuffle, so further proof was needed for my comrades back home. We traveled together to determine what lay at the end of time.